All right, guys, which phrase is more true? Money equals control or control equals money? I'd really like to see your thoughts posted in the comments. So which of those is more true, that money equals control or control equals money? Which one is the most accurate statement? There is no doubt that money gives you more control. There is definitely a leverage with money that gives you more control of certain situations. So for instance, let's say that you and I are competing for the same corporate job, and you have the resources to buy a $100 suit, and I have the resources to buy a $1,000 suit. Which one of us is more likely to make a fantastic impression going into this job? That is quite an advantage. There are some people out there that have the opportunity afforded to them regularly that they can buy a foreclosed house at every auction. Yes, there are people out there that own hundreds and thousands of homes. They grew up in a real estate family, and money has given them more control. Okay, so every weekend they buy this, and you might struggle to even buy one. So in evaluating this statement, it sure seems like money equals control has a lot of heft to it. But let's consider some of the caveats. Does it equal control? Does money equal control? Not really, because people have free will. So let's say, for instance, an owner owns a company and everybody's getting paid $15 an hour. And he's like, this is just too much. Like, I would like more profits for myself. And since I have the money, I'm just going to go ahead and control this situation by dropping everybody's pay down to $2, and I'll just rake in more money for myself. Well, money doesn't equal control in this situation, because just because he's the owner doesn't mean that he gets to control everybody. And all of those people, because they have freedom, can walk out on their jobs and say, no, this isn't what we're doing. Money does not equal control, even in the underworld. Think about the crime bosses for a minute. They are wealthy. They are very wealthy. They have lots of money. But does money by itself equal control? No, you can bribe people. You can lure people. You can get some favor and some advantage, but eventually that has a limit, and you have to focus on threats, manipulation, lies, possibly brutality and violence to get your way. So money equals control has some weight to it, but control equals money is actually more true and holds weight more often. I'll give you, for instance, the powers that are in government, whoever your legislatures are, whoever your top lawyers are, whoever your prime ministers or your presidents are, they are absolutely in control of the money supply. And because they are in control also of the military, because they are in control of the laws of the land, because they are in control of taxes, with that control, they have a lot of leverage, and that means they are going to have money as well. It is a byproduct. So control there does equal money. And you can even look, what about these governments that don't have any money? They just don't have anything. Well, those with power still have money, because they can go, hey, so we are going to go in debt on this, and we're going to create a bill that now we print up another $700 billion and just push it out there. It has value because we say it has value, because we have control. I'll give you another, for instance. Some of those that are the wealthiest people in the world currently are those that took total control over crypto. They were like, I'm going to create a coin. I'm going to brand it. I'm going to decide how many to sell. I'm going to decide if it has to be built or mined or however all these operations work. I'm going to decide what it's going to be used for. I'm going to decide who to network with. I'm going to decide who to run against, etc. And because they had full control over those cryptocurrencies, they are now billionaires. So if we're evaluating the difference between money equals control or control equals money, one of those statements is more true than the other. Control equals money is more true. Now, this has a huge benefit for you if you can grasp this, that on the personal level, this is also true. So the next time you think, you're like, I need some more money. Here's the reason you're stating that. The reason you're stating, I need more money, is because you actually want more control of your life. And so you think that money will help you control your life. Diagnose this, label this, and really tune in the next time you think to yourself, I need more money. I need more money for this bill. I need more money for this weekend coming up. I need more money to take out so-and-so. I need more money for my vacation. I need more money for retirement. Instead of saying, I need more money, why don't you replace it with, I need more control? Because control equals money, but money does not equal control. You really need to grasp this. And I'll tell you why this is the case. It doesn't matter if you're making $100,000 a year, $25,000 a year, or $10,000 a year. You are operating in a range, and it goes from worst to best. So if we were going to try to label it, we could say worst, bad, okay, good, best. And you are operating somewhere in that range where you are located, where you are situationed in life. And it doesn't matter the situation. What matters is your control of yourself in the situation. I see this all the time. People that, let's say they make $20,000 a year. And so they've got $400 a week coming in. They think, I don't have any money, so I don't have any control, so I don't have to work on control, and they waste their resources to the tune of like 25% of what they make. Now, 25% doesn't sound like much because $100 doesn't look like much. I mean, everybody around is blowing $100 and it really doesn't look like anything. And I'm going to identify with you for a second. 25 years ago, I was in the same boat. I was broke, just absolutely broke. And since you're already broke and everything's a nightmare, getting worse is no big deal. And I remember going out to eat 4 different times that week with my wife. I was just like, screw it. We're broke. And I want to feel good. And so we would go eat out, not cheaply, not at some dollar menu, not grabbing a $2 burger, but spending as if we had made it. That's not good logic. But what I was doing was I was trying to compensate for that lack of control and that lack of money with a feeling. I want to feel good. The life feels so bad. I want to feel some kind of goodness so I can afford this immediately in front of me. And you know what? It just dug a deeper and deeper pit. So foolish looking at it. Well, burning $100 a week when you're only making $20,000 a year doesn't look like much, but if you look at the percentage, it's huge. And if you take that person that has no control in a small range and you amplify it, even if you give them $100,000 a year, they're not going to know how to manage it because they didn't have any control. And I'll give you an insight. I knew a manager several years ago that had a $100,000 a year package job. That person had no control. They actually just did whatever they felt like doing. This person drove a very beat up, ragged car, not because they chose to, which is a whole different matter completely, but because they couldn't afford anything else, because the money was always flowing out of their hands. And I'll never forget seeing when that person's boss came through and told them on paper, this is what you are making per year. And that person was shocked. They were like, I've never multiplied it out. How am I making that much per year and I don't have any money? And the answer was because they didn't have any control. So which one's has more power to it? Which one has more value? Which one has more worth? Money equals control or control equals money? I hope now you know the answer.